So Zebec has done it yet again. Did you know that they're going to be collaborating with Tangem again? Now, nothing I say is financial advice. However, this is more so of a celebration, in a sense where they recently made a post saying how to celebrate Zebec's debut at XRP Las Vegas, which, by the way, the CEO of Zebec, which of course is named Simon, he's going to be attending allegedly the largest XRP conference in the world, which is in Las Vegas. So again, to kind of commemorate this right here, they're going to be allegedly releasing some sort of limited edition XRP Las Vegas Tangem and Zebec cold wallet. Okay, sure. I mean, it's pretty cool, right? At the end of the day, I mean, it is what it is in my opinion, but I think the wallet is secondary, right? I think the primary thing is, of course, even just Simon allegedly being a keynote speaker at an event like that. Now, again, I don't know if he's going to be there the entire time, but when they did make this post, they said April 30th to May 1st, 2026, and it does list Simon as the keynote speaker, amongst others, of course. There's also Brad Garlinghouse, which, by the way, is the CEO of Ripple. However, I'm not telling anyone to do anything, and nothing I say is financial advice. However, the way I take a look at this is that this is such a good step in the right direction, because if I take a look at Tangem, it's pretty massive, right? Of course, we already know the collaboration that Zebec has with Tangem and how they appeared in some Bundesliga soccer matches. So I thought that was really cool. Furthermore, we saw previously in the past them make some sort of limited edition wallet, which allegedly the first one I think sold out. So this one is kind of pretty cool as well, in my opinion, to kind of commemorate, I guess, Zebec's CEO appearing at the XRP conference in Las Vegas, which again is allegedly the largest of its kind in the world, or should I say the largest XRP conference in the world. So I just think it's pretty cool. Keep in mind, right, the CPO of Solana is also going to be there apparently as a keynote speaker. Pretty impressive. So if I take a look at all of this right here, I just don't view it as a bad thing when it comes to Zebec. People like to say, oh, Zebec, who cares about all this? It's just a watered down version of Ripple or XDC, but I don't really necessarily agree with that to that extent. Sure, it may be kind of a miniature version of them because Zebec is focused on global trade and finance, so are they, but then Zebec is way less popular. Yeah, I get that, but at the end of the day, in my opinion, when I take a look at, let's say, this right here, I think first of all, it showcases that Zebec has somewhat of a validation, right? Because in order for the CEO to even be a part of something like that, again, the XRP conference, that may showcase how he's being treated seriously. I think it showcases that, again, the project indirectly is also being treated seriously when it comes to Zebec. Furthermore, I think now Simon is in a better position than before in terms of speaking at that event. Let me explain why, right? Because remember when Zebec announced that Stellar partnership? Here's the thing, that right there could be such a good conversation starter, especially now that Zebec is officially a partner when it comes to Stellar, allegedly. And then let's say later on we see Simon speak at XRP Las Vegas. He can say that, right? He can say, hey, you know what? We partnered with Stellar. Not to mention, he can say that Solana Ventures is a backer when it comes to Zebec. And you know what? The thing is, there's actually people there to maybe back up what he's saying, because again, the CPO of Solana is going to be a keynote speaker at that event. So he can maybe back that up, right? Not to mention, Simon, he can also mention that Circle, which is the creator of USDC, is a backer when it comes to Zebec. So at the end of the day, I think that Stellar partnership right there really put the cherry on top when it comes to Zebec, and it puts it, I think, in a way better position than before, in a sense where now Simon has more things to talk about at the conference, right? So I do like this. However, of course, it's going to be happening next month in April 30th, all the way up until May 1st of this year. So yeah, I just think it's pretty cool nonetheless. And the fact that Tangem even still cares about Zebec, I just think it's pretty cool, because Tangem is really massive. I don't think they really need Zebec in a sense, right? But if they're willing to partner up with Zebec anyways, I think that right there may showcase that they might see something fundamentally speaking. So when I take a look at all of this right here, I'm just still a fan. This is my mindset. However, when I take a look at ZBCN, of course, people like to say, oh, who cares about we only care about the price. Well, here's the thing. Actually, in the past 7 days, ZBCN has been up around 20%, by the way, right? So it's not like it's doing so bad, in my opinion. Furthermore, in the past month alone, it was almost up 20% too. So if I take a look at it, I mean, it's not that bad. And think about this, right? I have been talking about ZBCN for over a year. I started believing in ZBCN when the market cap was like below 100 million. And keep in mind, in the past 365 days, actually, ZBCN has been up around 160%. So when people like to say, oh, ZBCN has had such a major pullback, yeah, it did from like around a 500 million market cap, but ever since I started talking about it, yeah, sure, it's experienced ups and downs, but generally, ever since I started talking about it, it's been up like actually over hypothetically 100%, which, just check out my earlier videos when it comes to ZBCN, right? So that's the thing. When I take a look at something like Zebec, has it really done so bad at the end of the day? I don't necessarily agree with that. But of course, it's an altcoin. It doesn't have the biggest market cap out there. Of course, sometimes the movements are going to be a little bit more intense when compared to something like a Bitcoin, right? But at the end of the day, in my opinion, I think for what ZBCN is, I don't think it's done like so bad in a sense where, it's just completely, I guess, tanked or anything like that. I don't necessarily agree with that. Yeah, sure, it's down by quite a lot. It's down by, more or less around 50% from around a 500 million market cap. But at the end of the day, around a 50% like downwards movement from last year, we've seen a lot of projects be down 90, 95, 98%. Not saying that around 50% is good by any means. That's still not good, right? Being down around 50%, but it's been holding up, I think, a lot better than even its closest competitor. Let me explain why. Take a look at XCN, right? XCN is Zebec's closest competitor, or should I say Onyx. When I take a look at XCN actually last year reached a higher market cap than ZBCN. And that's not a joke, actually. XCN exceeded the market cap of ZBCN by around 500 million, considering their respective peaks in 2025. In a sense where we saw ZBCN peaking at around a 500 million market cap in 2025. For simplicity's sake, let's just say we assume 500 million. We saw XCN reach around $1 billion last year. So for simplicity's sake, let's just say it's $1 billion, right? So last year, we saw XCN at a certain point pretty much double the market cap in which we once saw ZBCN reach that year as well. We've seen that before. But guess what? Now, when it comes to XCN, surprisingly, despite reaching those amazing heights last year, the market cap is actually slightly below 200 million, whereas something like ZBCN, again, it's above 200 million. So what has held up better, XCN or ZBCN? I think it's actually ZBCN. And Onyx, again, or should I say XCN, is literally its closest competitor. So when people like to say, oh, it's holding up so bad. So if it's holding up so bad, does that mean Onyx is holding up even worse? Well, in theory, I guess so. But, if people like to say, oh, Onyx held up so well. Well, if that's the case, why wouldn't Zebec be considered to hold up even better? Because mathematically speaking, it's probably held up a lot better, right? When compared to something like Onyx. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm still a big fan when it comes to Onyx. But if I take a look at it, when people like to tell me that Onyx has held up so well, Zebec is cooked, well, I don't necessarily agree with that because ZBCN has actually held up a little bit better than XCN, despite not reaching the heights that XCN did back in 2025. But besides that point, though, if I take a look at it, ZBCN surprisingly still has only around 96,000 holders, which, in my opinion, I do find it to be pretty impressive, but also at the same time, a little bit kind of low, I think, in a sense where if we take a look at XCN has around 145,000 holders, right? ZBCN, despite the stellar partnership when it comes to Zebec, like again, I didn't really see like that much of an increase when it comes to the amount of holders when it comes to ZBCN. And I think that right there might showcase that the market sentiment still isn't clearly the best. But you know what? If ZBCN as of right now, around a 250 million market cap, around 2 times lower than where it was just last year, I'm not going to be complaining when it comes to dollar cost averaging, because if it could just return back to that moment, I'm going to Sizzler. That's the way to take a look at it. However, I'll be sure to make more updates when it comes to Zebec, so hopefully y'all stay tuned for that. It's Willie the Captain. Thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see y'all in the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.